Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We'll get started right away here. So this is Thomas Carlson from Knowledge Point. It's really nice to see all of you joining us. Today, we have invited special guests from ASCENT, who are a provider of Autodesk learning materials. You met some of their team at the Learning Partners Summit that we had. It's been 3 weeks now, if you were there. And the intention of this call is to follow up from that summit and share some more in-depth information about how ASCENT works and what their available offer looks like, and also to ensure that everyone has a chance to ask some questions and raise any points that you have been wondering about. I know that many of you are already familiar with ASCENT's material and may already be using it. So the intention of today's call is to, once we're through the intro part, is that I will hand over to ASCENT themselves so that they can take us through, as I said, their approach to creating material and what's available from them. We'll also discuss how you as learning partners can access the material of the courseware following. We have some nice promotions running, which I definitely encourage you to take a look at. And of course, you can also purchase titles as part of the program if you want to leverage the material in your training courses. There should be plenty of time for Q&A. The way we have set it up is that we are recording the call. We will also share the recording afterwards with everyone. Because of that, we've muted the phone line. So if you wouldn't mind using the chat function, there's also a Q&A button in the Zoom tool that you can use. So either or, and typing in your questions, then we'll do our best to take them and review them towards the end of the call, as I said. So don't hold back, ask anything that you'd like to know from the team at ASCENT. Without any further ado, it's my pleasure to welcome Rhonda and Brianne from ASCENT, and I'd like to hand over to you guys. Thank you for being here, and yeah, over to you.
Great. Thanks, Thomas, and hello, everyone. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to be with us, and I am joined today by Brianne McDonald, who's one of our technical editors, so you'll get some of her insight as we get going through the presentation. So I'm going to turn my camera off here so we don't have any conflicts. And there we go. And so we'll move on. So as Thomas said, many of you may already be familiar with ASCENT. However, you may only know us for the Autodesk courseware that we've been developing now for actually over 30 years. So our team of full-time dedicated developers and writers have experience with other CAD and PDM systems in addition to Autodesk. And this allows us to develop a broad library of content with consistency and quality across the board. Over the past 3 decades, we have seen that the expertise of our content team can also be applied to a wide range of training and documentation needs beyond just our standard courseware. So the objective of this presentation is to show you more about that and how ASCENT can help support your training needs, but also help you support your customers in other ways. So we'll move on to the next slide here. We have always made a choice and a decision to have an internal team of content developers rather than contractors. So we've got content developers and technical writers, and this has allowed us to develop and maintain the format and the quality standards across every type of project that we do. So we've got that consistency and oversight into everything we do. This team is comprised of subject matter experts from various industries with instructional design and teaching experience, and their blend of expertise enables them to relate topics in a way that helps users really become productive very quickly. So our team collaborates really closely internally with each other, but also with our customers as we bring that variety of perspectives and expertise to not only the custom projects that we do, but our standard learning guides. So customer feedback is always very important to us. So we'll take a quick look here at our Autodesk courseware on the next slide. We have a range of titles available for the Autodesk software that you see here. Many of these are now available for 2026, as well as several older versions, because we know not everybody moves immediately to the latest and greatest version. The content that we have for these titles are definitely fundamentals level skills get covered. And then we also do have advanced level topics for some of the software as well. So the work has been done over the last few releases to make these titles a little more modular, and this provides more flexible training options for you. So for example, the Civil 3D titles, the Essentials course is now the prerequisite for a series of what we call Beyond the Basics titles. And those go into general civil design, grading, and transportation. So all users get the same core foundation knowledge before they then start into their preferred training path. The team also monitors market changes and takes feedback from you as well, and watches new products to see where something new can be added. So we try to keep our list fresh and up to date and meeting current needs. So we always encourage your comments and your questions and your feedback, because that really helps us to see what market trends are actually happening. In terms of what's coming and how to find that, we have what we call a courseware release roadmap, and Thomas is going to include that in a link with the slide presentation, but it's also posted on the ASCENT website. So we'll give that address to you at the end of the presentation here. So moving on, we'll look at our product formats. So we have various things. So just to clarify, we have learning guides that the students would use. We call it a learning guide. So that's the full course material. And each guide includes a page near the front of the guide that has access instructions for the practice files that are used in the course. And that's available whether it's in print version or ebook version. It's readily accessible. And then we took that exact same book that the student is using, and we've created what we call an instructor guide. So the instructor sees what the student has, but it also has instructional resources incorporated into it. And so those resources include answers to the chapter review questions, a suggested timing guide for course delivery, so roughly how long to spend on each chapter. And then most also have access to instructor presentation files in the same book. And so this gives the teacher or the instructor just a single resource to teach from, so you aren't trying to pull various things together in the middle of a class. Both the learning guide and the instructor guide are available in either print or ebook format, so it makes it really convenient. The ebooks, we are seeing a trend that a lot of customers are moving to that format for the convenience, because there's color content, there's highlighting and notes, and it's easier than if you are taking several classes or you're a teacher that's traveling consistently. You don't have to take several hard copy books with you. The other nice thing too is that it's great for last minute class enrollment. So it's usually immediate delivery. You don't have to worry about will the shipment arrive in time for your class. So it's very, very convenient. And now we'll take a look at our services that you may not be as familiar with. So we do understand that our customers don't necessarily all like to train and use our curriculum in the same way. So we have developed a range of service offerings to customize the learning experience to help students retain as much knowledge as possible. We ensure that our customers can train that way, or the way they want, and to give them as much flexibility as possible. And this can be done in a wide variety of ways. So we can include their models, their workflows into our existing curriculum, just to make it a little more personal to their experience. Or you can partner with ASCENT to create specific custom content that fits, their specific process, models, and integrated tools if our standard, what we call out-of-the-box content, doesn't meet those needs. So we can work with you on a variety of levels. The other thing that's nice, especially for the learning partners, is that customization can be as simple as adding your logo on the training manual or on the cover to really, emphasize your branding, your organization, or we could reorganize, chapters in an existing guide just to really meet a specific training need that you or your customer may have. So there's a lot of options out there. And then we'll move on. We'll look at some of the other services that we do. So again, as I mentioned, yes, we have been doing learning content development for many, many years. However, we have seen that the expertise that we have in that arena also translates into other types of documentation. So we have found that um, in most cases, clients also have documentation needs outside of their training on their preferred software. So many businesses need to produce documentation. Perhaps it's for, if they're developing a product or producing a product, they may need to create internal documentation for their own teams or external documentation for their end users. And perhaps in some cases they've already created that themselves. However, they may not have their own internal resources or the time to output that in a final polished format. So we can do everything from like basic editing and proofreading to help make that style and formatting of their content consistent throughout. Or we can also work with them, through you with them to create documentation if nothing exists. So, for example, we created online help documentation for a software tool developer and an operations manual for an equipment manufacturer. So it doesn't have to do anything specifically with our training content. It can be completely different. So again, with these services, we can help you support your clients. We can work through you to assist them with other types of documentation needs. And so here I'm going to turn it over to Brianne to discuss a couple of specific projects that our team has completed.
Yeah, so this first one, the customer was transitioning its staff from MicroStation and Inroads to Civil 3D. So they had an existing data set and existing documentation, but needed it reproduced for use in Civil 3D. So in collaboration with our partner, we were able to use our current Civil 3D courseware and then enhance it with project exercises that use the customer's data set. So this reduced their overall cost and effort while also enabling learners to concentrate on fundamental Civil 3D knowledge and skills, but also work with a familiar data set. In the next example, switch slides. We worked with the customer to provide Revit and Civil 3D training to a county wastewater treatment division. We completed a training needs analysis and designed a training outline that primarily used content from our existing Revit and Civil 3D learning guides to cover standard software features and workflows. They didn't have an existing data set, so instead our partner developed a Revit model of a county water treatment facility. So we use that to create custom exercises to integrate client-specific content into the standard courseware. We also wrote custom learning content to cover topics specific to them that were not included in our standard guides. So by using our existing courseware and customizing it as needed, we were able to save the customer time and money while still producing training guides that met their clients' needs. Both of these examples illustrate how we can take our existing courseware and customize it for clients, whether by mixing and matching topics from different guides or by enhancing the standard content with customized topics and exercises. And we'll throw it back to Rhonda.
Great. Thanks, Brianne. So as you can see in those two examples, we have worked with the learning partner, the Autodesk Learning Partner, to help them provide unique training and documentation for that specific client and their internal needs. So we aren't trying to force them through just to use something very standard that may not really be applicable to, and this helps them get productive quickly and make the most use of their resources, time, and money. So why choose ASCENT? So we this kind of recaps the highlights of what we have been talking about today, but we have partnered with Knowledge Point for, it's been 15 years now, and we continue to support the learning partners through our partnership, and we also offer discounts to ATCs through the Knowledge Point order tool, and we'll have a little bit, you can see here if you go to the order tool, and I believe Thomas will speak to that a little bit, but that discount applies to the learning guides, the instructor guides, print and ebook formats. So we are doing everything we can to help support you in your work with your own clients. So as I said, we're very flexible. We have content if you just want to use what we currently have, but we have options for multiple learning styles, different formats. Because we have that dedicated team of experts, we can help create something if something is not existing, or modifying something quickly that helps meet your training needs. As I mentioned, all of our guides include practice exercises, so that really helps reinforce the learning that they're doing. And if they would prefer to bring in their own related files and things like that, we can certainly do that. And again, we do a wide variety of customization and documentation services. Okay, we'll move on to the next. This is just a brief reminder for those of you that did attend the ATC Summit in Morocco to claim your free instructor kit, which includes 1 instructor guide ebook and 4 learning guide ebooks. You can choose from kits that are available for AutoCAD, Civil 3D, 3ds Max, Inventor, or Revit. And this is a great way you get this bundle, and you can try it out in a class at no cost to you at all. So if you attended and you haven't redeemed your code, please do that. Or if someone else in your organization attended the conference, the card that you see here was included in their giveaway bag that Knowledge Point provided. So they should make sure to take a look at that and take advantage of that offer. And then we'll move on, and we just want to say thank you. Or oh yeah, Thomas, do you want to speak to we've got free sample chapters, or I'll let you speak to that. Yeah.
Thank you, Rhonda, and thank you, Brianne, so far. So I also wanted to mention from Knowledge Point side and TD Cinex, who were co-organizing the Learning Partners Summit, that it's a really great promotion that ASCENT supported the event with. So if you attended, take the opportunity of leveraging that. If you didn't have the chance to attend, which we understand not everyone could be in Morocco on site, we're also offering a second promotion, which is available to everyone in the Autodesk Learning Partner channel. And that's to review sample chapters of the courseware that ASCENT has in their library. This will help your team, particularly your instructors, assess and evaluate the suitability and whether you can use the already packaged solutions, or maybe consider working with the ASCENT team on customizing specific to your project needs or your context. These sample chapters are being offered as ebooks through the My Live Book platform, and there would have been an email sent to everyone who's registered as a Learning Partner Site Manager, and this was sent in early September. And it included a code to log into this platform and redeem the sample chapter access. If you didn't get the email, then you can reach out to our team. We use the help desk called channel@knowledgepoint.com. If you prefer to email me directly, then do so, and we will retrieve your code and make sure you can have access to review. And this includes the entire library. So it's a lot of titles covering a lot of the Autodesk products. So it's worth as well to check out to get a better feel for what ASCENT can offer and how they might be a good partner for you moving forward in your training. So with that said, well, thank you again, Rhonda and Brianne. Great presentation, great overview. Just want to check before we move into the Q&A whether you wanted to just round off, or whether you're happy for us to throw ourselves right into any questions.
Yeah, I was just going to say very quickly, thank you again. We really appreciate your time. And if you have, questions or feedback, at any point, we always welcome that. As I had mentioned, we have on our website, ascented.com, there's a resources section, and that is where you can find the roadmap that I mentioned earlier. So that roadmap, we have it for the current 2026 version, and it has the list of titles, the projected release date if it's not already available, and other details on there. So you can find it there. If you have any questions, or you're very welcome to email me or reach out to us in any way to, if you have are looking for something specific, we're very glad to answer your question. But thank you again from all of us. So.
Excellent. Well, thank you. So let's, we do have some time. Feel free to post any questions in the chat, or as I mentioned, there's also a Q&A button in the Zoom tool. You can choose whichever works best for you. And I'm happy to say we have a couple of questions already. So these are more of admin nature maybe, but there's a question about the ATC discount that Rhonda mentioned. And as you maybe heard as part of the presentation, this is something that's automatically provided if you purchase through a Knowledge Point in this case, so our order tool. So the pricing you would see there should be adapted to take the discount that ATCs get access to into account. And I captured who asked the question, so we can email afterwards to just share the link again directly to you. And I see that the second question is from the same person about the sample chapters. So I've taken note. I will email you after the call to share the access code there as well, so that you have it. And the same goes, as said, for anyone else who might have questions about that. Just drop Knowledge Point an email, and we will help you with that offline. Any other questions for the ASCENT team, especially around maybe the content itself and or the services? We'll just give everyone a chance to post any questions before we round off.
And I'll just quickly mention also, with each new release of the software, we do, because we work closely with Autodesk and have done so for so many years, we get advanced copies of the software so that we can have the core level or of the books, the fundamentals level books for the core products like AutoCAD, Civil, Revit, Inventor, available as close to the first customer ship of the software as we can. So that helps your teams to start looking at it as quickly as possible. And for your customers who may be, trying to get up and running quickly with the new versions, well, we try to make those available as quickly as possible. And then throughout the following months, we then work on the titles that more advanced level titles and subsequent ones that may be in a little bit less demand than those basic ones. But it takes us several months to finish everything off, but we have a wide range of titles available for you.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing. See, there's one more question. So, and this is a good one. So Rhonda, maybe if a customer wanted to learn from one of these customized versions that you talked about, what would the process look like to get that material created, especially taking into account that it's our partners' customers, so to speak? How would the partners work with your team on an opportunity like that? Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So what we typically do is we get some initial inquiry as to what you or your clients may need. If it's for example modifying the existing ASCENT content, we usually start with the table of contents. If it's reorganizing, and we'll say, okay, here's the table of contents, say for AutoCAD fundamentals, go through and mark it up and give us some idea of what you would like to have, how you would like the finished product to look, what needs to be included. So essentially, we need a good idea of what work would need to be done, whether that's reorganizing existing content, creating new content. And from that point, we will then do an estimate of how much time it will take our team. So Brianne, our subject matter experts, to do that work. And then from that point, we can give you a quote that you can then pass to your client. So we're not trying to get between you and your customer. We would work through you to get that information. And, we typically will have a call, with yourselves and our team to talk through more specifics, if that helps initially, to get the idea of what the finished product should look like. And then typically what we do is, if it's, say, a custom book that's been reorganized or even a brand new book, we can set it up for you then to, there would be a fee to do the work to create it, but then we can set it up for you to order on demand. So there wouldn't be any, you don't have to pre-order or order a minimum amount. You can just order it as you need it once it's set up and available, if that makes sense.
Perfect. Thank you. That's a good overview. I see that we have perfect. So it looks like the person who asked also felt that was good. So I don't see any other questions at this point, but let's do one final call for questions. Anything else that anyone is wondering about? Let's take the final couple of minutes here and feel free to ask Rhonda or Brianne. We'll just give another round. And I might mention in the meantime that, as I said in the beginning, we are recording and we will email out the recording. We'll also add some other practical details. Rhonda mentioned the roadmap so that you can see the available titles and plan upcoming releases. We'll include a reminder about the My Live Book code as well, and then you can, if you haven't received it, we can send it to you directly individually. But
yes, and I was going to say, oh, I'm so sorry.
No, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to quickly mention with the roadmap, if you are looking for a title that has not been released yet, let us know, what your time frame is when you might need it, and we might be able to reorganize our schedule and get something out sooner. I can't guarantee that, but it helps to have that feedback. So contact us. Feel free to reach out. So.
Great. So I think that's a really nice way of rounding this off. So thank you again to both of you, Rhonda and Brianne. I appreciate that you joined us to share how you work, etc. And I think one takeaway, at least for me, is that there's a lot of flexibility and opportunity to customize and adapt to what would make most sense for the partner community. So for everyone who's listening, thank you also to all of you for logging in and going through. And look out for the recording a bit later on today, hopefully, and then don't hesitate to reach out back if you see an opportunity to work together with the team at ASCENT. So with that, thanks again, Ron and Brianne, and yes, thank you, and wishing everyone who's logged in a great rest of your day.
Yes, thank you very much.